I think the biggest reason why most people struggle who have bad credit struggle to get good credit is because they overcomplicate the process. Especially in 2025, it's never been easier than now to fix credit, especially because we have things like AI.
You might not be successful on Instagram. Things might not be going the way you want to on TikTok, but you got to try other platforms to see where your audience is and who wants to work with you.
You're not going to hard work your way towards becoming wealthy. You're not going to hard work your way towards becoming super ultra rich. A lot of times it's about not just about what you know and what you're doing, it's about who you know. Make it as cookie cutter as possible. Make you realize you're only 2 to 3 steps away from getting access to the capital you need. Why is this person more successful than me? Why are they making more money than me? It's not because they're smarter than you. It's not because they're better than you. It's just that when you both got to a point where it got uncomfortable, you stopped and they kept going.
What do I do? How do I get started? How do I build and restore this personal credit?
Man, the golden question.
Welcome to another episode of Access Granted, where I give you exclusive access to entrepreneurs that are killing it in their industry. I'm excited today, y'all. The pressure is on. I have somebody I look up to, I admire to like the 10th degree. Marvin Francois, how are you? Welcome to Access Granted.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be on.
Yeah, the intro wasn't, I did Marvin's podcast. I just want to, can we take a commercial break real quick? I did Marvin's podcast and it was an amazing experience. So first I want to say thank you for having me on your platform.
Sure.
But it's only right that we return the favor and I introduce you to mine and allow you to just shine some light and some value on all the amazing things that you're doing.
I appreciate it. And yeah, I had to roll out the red carpet for business grant royalty. You understand? So for sure. I'm excited to be here.
Thank you so much. So before we dive in, I just want you to introduce yourself to the audience. Who are you? How did you get started? And where is this journey going?
Man, what a question. Yeah, let's get into it. You want the long story short or you want the short story?
I want it all.
Okay. All right, cool. So for those who are unfamiliar, I'll get you guys familiar. My name is Marvin Francois. I am the host of the Marvin Francois Show, the #1 source for all things business, finance, and investing. And I'm also the CMO/CEO of Takeoff Financial, right? So I specialize in helping established entrepreneurs get access to $50,000 to $100,000 in business funding, but it wasn't always like this. So before I got into the funding and media space, most people don't know this, I have a background in entertainment. So I was actually an aspiring stand-up comedian for about 3 years. So from 2017 to 2020, right? 2020, for most people, I think was either a year where you pivoted or you just took whatever you were doing and then took it to another level. For me, it was the former. And what happened was from 2017 to 2020, I was running in comedy with my head down, right? And in my mind, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm crushing it. I'm performing at colleges and comedy clubs all across the country. I make people laugh. I'm doing what I love. This is great. 2020 was really the first time I had to all of us had to stop and just think and really assess what was going on. And in that year, I'm looking at my bank account and I'm like, all right, the math ain't math in here. I'm working my tail off. I'm not making as much money as I feel like I need to, right? So ultimately I decided that I was going to pivot, which is exactly what I did. So what happened in 2020 was around the same time when I'm pivoting out of, the comedy space and trying to figure out what's next, I noticed that a lot of the business owners in my family who had construction companies, owned like taxi cab services, restaurants and beyond, the #1 constraint that they dealt with, which I'm sure you're familiar with, is having access to capital. I learned that was directly connected to credit. And then from there, I kind of sent myself down this rabbit hole of just researching and learning and doing all these different things. So it started with me building my own personal credit. Then from there, helping my other friends and family build their credit. And I'm like, all right, I think I got something going on here. Then helping other people get access to funding on the business side. I'm like, okay, I really think I got something going on here. And around late 2020, when I knew that all right, this is where I need to plant my flag and go next, a gentleman that you know very well, my guy Herm, shouts to my guy Haitian CEO, he had said that he was doing an in-person mentorship around how to start a credit and funding company. I said, there's no way that it's coincidence that as I'm starting to get into this space, I'm stumbling across this class that's going to help me not only learn more about the space, but learn how to monetize the information. Go to the class. It completely changed the game for me. I got all the information I needed and then ultimately started my company in November of 2020. Now, I'm a new entrepreneur at this time. So in my mind, I'm like, oh, I just started a business and then I'm a millionaire by tomorrow. We both know it don't work that way. I learned very quickly, you got to market hard, right? So I'm posting content on Instagram, nothing's happening. I'm posting content on TikTok, nothing's happening. A close friend of mine is like, hey, I think you should bring your show over to YouTube because that's really where most of your aspiring clients are. I'm like, man, you tripping. I'm going to keep posting on Instagram. We're going to figure this thing out. He's like, bro, I'm telling you, you got to post on YouTube. I'm like, all right, cool. So I go back, start creating free value content around YouTube. My first YouTube video I ever posted was January 21 of 2021. And that video a month later pretty much blew up. It cracked over 100,000 views. My first YouTube video ever.
Wow.
I'm like, okay, maybe a bit of a, beginner's luck. Next video after that does 100,000 again. I'm like, okay, we here. It's going on. But it wasn't just the viewership. On the front end, it looked great. But on the back end, what happened that was even better was I had my consultation calendar for my funding company that I started back in November. We were booked out for like 4 weeks, taking 16 calls a day. So I'm like, okay, we got a business now, and I'm here. And pretty much from there, that was kind of how I broke into the space, if you will, both on the content creation side, on the business side, and fast forward, I haven't looked back since.
That is an amazing story.
Yeah.
Packed with value, packed
Yeah.
with information. I think a lot of people can relate to the journey, especially, trying to figure out what was next after the pandemic. I think some of us were forced to make a decision. Like, what are we going to do? But I love that you are now providing value to just an audience they really, truly need your service. So you touched on something, and I want to dive into it because I created Access Granted because I know there are a lot of people who truly need this information.
Yep.
But I'm killing it on Instagram, and 300,000 followers, and a little bit over a year, and I see the impact, I see the work that we're doing, and I did a podcast episode with Nehemiah Davis, and we dropped my link in Nehemiah's bio or the caption.
Yep.
And that video got over 100,000 views.
Yep.
And so, I got a lot of clients from that podcast episode. So I realized, wait a minute, if I got so many clients from an episode on YouTube.
Yes, ma'am.
This is where I need to be. Like,
Let's talk about it.
I need to be on the YouTube side. So Access Granted was created
There you
from
go.
realizing that some of my audience, that people want to get to know you more. They want to, they want to have a long conversation with you. They want to know that you are the expert in your space. And
Right.
so I completely get it. And I think there's probably somebody watching this right now that needs to hear that gem or that nugget. Like, you might not be successful
Right.
on Instagram. Things might not be going the way you want to on TikTok, but you got to try other platforms to see where your audience is and who wants to work with you.
Yeah, to expand on that, that was very, very important. So for one, I've found that not just within our space, 'cause we're in the financial services space, but even beyond that, like whether you're in stocks, crypto, whatever it may be, if you have planted your flag on the YouTube side, you're always going to get the best clients from there, because 9.9 times out of 10, most times when people stumble across your content on Instagram by way of an explore page or whatever it may be, even if it may be helpful to them, they're not as motivated to take action and leverage the information that you're providing. But when you think YouTube is directly connected to Google, right? So if I am somebody who is trying to learn about business grants, what you do, and I Google, how do I get access to business grants and beyond? The first thing that Google is going to do is they're going to recommend me to Coach K, right? Because you're over there creating content on YouTube, right? So we're getting a funnel there. And then the second piece to that puzzle is it's very different when somebody watches a 30 to 60 second piece of content versus when you have someone that sits down and watches a 10-minute video, an hour-long, 30-minute podcast and beyond. They're a lot more invested into trusting you, right? And wanting to do business with you and beyond. So that's why, I mean, you ask anybody, I eat, sleep, and breathe. YouTube is my baby. Like, I love it to death. But in the same vein, I also know that, not everything is universal. So I think the much larger overarching message there is you really got to find what platform works best for you and just go all in on it. For some people, YouTube might not work for them. And Instagram, they might be crushing it. Hey, God bless. For other people, it might be TikTok. For people like you and me, it's YouTube. But you want to find what that platform is, plant your flag in it, and go all in. But I'm here to tell you right now, it's probably more than likely probably YouTube. Yeah.
So I love that we touched on YouTube, but I'm gonna be honest.
Talk to me.
You coach me on YouTube, and I don't know if I'm ready to share.
Okay.
I'm not ready. I'm gonna share a little bit of you with them, but
Okay.
not all of it.
Okay.
I'm gonna keep that piece to myself.
No problem.
I want to dive into, some credit gems.
Yep.
And I think it's important that we start, you talked about your journey, how you had to restore your credit as
Yep.
well. And I think a lot of people can relate. I did a course a couple of weeks ago, and inside of that course, I asked, if you had to get a credit card today, would you have the credit profile and the credit score to secure the credit
Right.
funding? And a large majority of the room said no, And so it made me realize that there's more work to do. And I focus a lot on grants, but I don't think I dive in enough on helping entrepreneurs with their personal credit because grants don't check credit.
Right.
But it made me realize in that moment, like, wait a minute, are you truly fulfilling and doing what you're supposed to be doing if you're not teaching them that credit piece as well?
Yep.
So I'm so excited that you are here.
Come on.
You know?
Yay.
So now we get to teach them that credit piece
Let's do it.
as well. So
go.
let's dive into this credit piece. How do we, I'm watching this and I'm struggling with my personal credit.
Yep.
Maybe I, made a mistake. I got some late payments on my credit card. Maybe I went through a divorce and the divorce caused some hardship. Maybe I have a bankruptcy because I made, just got it in over my head. What do I do? How do I get started? How do I build and restore this personal credit?
Man, the golden question. Well, so the first step is we want to make sure we understand what good credit is supposed to look like, which is extremely important. Now, there are 5 factors that ultimately go into having good personal credit, right? First one being payment history, meaning that if I have any credit cards, student loan, mortgage, whatever it be, and it's on my report, making sure I pay it on time. I've seen people that when they miss one late payment, their credit score will literally drop anywhere between 100 to 150 points. So we don't want that. Second thing being, of course, credit utilization. So most people are taught that when it comes to their utilization, which is pretty much how much of your credit card balances that you're using in total in relation to how much you have access to, some people are taught that they need to keep it at 30% or lower. I advise people to keep it around 10% or lower, just because when it's below 10%, it's now helping your credit report. When it's floating around that 30% mark, it's not hurting it, but it's also not helping it either. It kind of floats in limbo. And then from there, you have length of credit history, right? Which is of all the credit accounts on your report, what's the average age of all of them? Is it 1 year? Is it 2 years? Is it 3 years and beyond? I try and tell people to try and have at least 2 years of credit history showing on their report. The next one is hard inquiries, right? So this is a big one, and I'm sure you may or may not have seen it, but like inquiries is always funny to me because I'll have people that'll come and they'll literally have like 20, 30, 40 inquiries of them applying for one card like 20 times in one go. I'm like, if they didn't approve you on time 15 and 16, why'd you think 17 is going to be the one? Like that's not it. But ideally, you never want to have more than 3 to 4 inquiries on any of your credit reports, just because anything beyond that, especially to your point, if they're looking to get access to capital on the business side, it doesn't make you look the best when you're sitting down with banks and with lenders. Now, once you have all those things taken care of, let's say to your point, somebody is coming to me or they're coming to you and like, Coach K or Marv, I want to get access to business credit, but I got the late payment. I have the student loan that went delinquent. I have all these things that are affecting my report. What do I do? I think the biggest reason why most people who have bad credit struggle to get good credit is because they overcomplicate the process. Especially in 2025, it's never been easier than now to fix credit, especially because we have things like AI. So people hear me or look at me and they're like, oh, he must have some secret method that he's using. He's paid hundreds of thousands of dollars, right, to get access. And it's really not that. Like, if you have no money, you can fix your credit today if you know the right strategies. What I typically advise people to do, I'm a big ChatGPT guy. And obviously, as I'm sure you know, platforms like ChatGPT can be used to do things in different aspects of business. But if you are trying to get your personal credit clean, you can actually leverage ChatGPT to create the letters that'll clean your credit report in a matter of weeks, right? Or a matter of months, depending on how long the process will take for you. What I tell people, my golden prompt that I like to use when you're going over to ChatGPT. So let's say you got your credit report, you've reviewed it, let's say you have a late payment with Capital One. You will go over to a platform like ChatGPT, and you would say this. You would say, hey, Chat, I have a late payment with Capital One. Can you please create me a dispute letter? And I'll give you guys codes that you could use using 15 USC 1681 EB and 15 USC 1681 I5A. Those are 2 laws that are in the Fair Credit Reporting Act that pretty much state that all the information on your credit report should be 100% accurate. If they're not accurate, we got to go ahead and get those removed. And then from there, ChatGPT is going to spit back a letter out at you that you can now use. And then if you want to add on to it, because I know people who are watching are going to say this, well, Marv, I tried that and they said that my account is verified. Right after that, you're going to send ChatGPT another prompt and say, hey, Chat, in the event that Experian, TransUnion, or Equifax send me a letter back saying that the account has been verified, can you create me a round 2 letter using the method of verification law that I can use to challenge this negative item to make sure it's removed in the second round? Method of verification law is pretty much a law that states whenever the credit reporting agency say something is verified, they have to now provide you written proof of the investigation that they did to go ahead and have the account removed. And if they don't provide that in 15 days, by law, the account has to be removed. And then that's it. That's pretty much all there is to it. So if you're following that blueprint of properly structuring your credit and then you use both of those prompts to create a round 1 and round 2 letter, Then from there, you're now able to put yourself in position to have the personal credit you need to go out and get access to business credit.
That is powerful.
Come on.
That is powerful.
Come on.
Listen, there's no excuse.
Not at all.
This AI tool is changing the game
Yeah.
for entrepreneurs and allowing, not entrepreneurs, but just people in general.
Yeah.
And allowing them to get out of the funk that we're in. I know
100%.
sometimes we sit there and we're like, oh, I got this late payment. It's over for me. It has to stay on there for 7 years or, and it's like, let's just do the work and get it removed. So now that we are in the space where we are fixing and restoring our personal credit,
Yep.
what's our next step? I'm a business owner. I'm an entrepreneur. I just restored my personal credit. What's next?
Well, next, I'm assuming you're fixing or restoring your personal credit because you want access to capital. So where people will make the mistake is they think, okay, now I can go ahead and run into any bank and they're going to give me 100,000 like I hear Coach K and Marvin talking about online. It's a process, right? So the next step after that is we want to make sure that we're even in position to get the capital that we're saying we're trying to get, which is very important, right? What does that look like? It's making sure that we have a properly structured business. So if you have a lot of people that'll watch your platform and for them it's like, I got the LLC, I'm good. No, there's a lot more to it that we want to make sure that we have in place. So the first thing is, of course, the LLC. We want to make sure that we have that. The second thing to it is we want to be very clear on what the banks are also looking at on top of the entity. So they're looking for properly structured businesses, meaning that if you have an LLC, that's great, but you also want to make sure that you have your business address, right? Some websites that your audience can look into. It's Opus, Regis. My personal favorite is Anytime Mailbox, which is only going to cost you about $10 a month, right? After that, we want to get our business phone number and our business email set up. Why? Because once again, when we're filling out the application, we're not putting, Hungry Gorilla 4242 in the email. We're not putting all these crazy names and numbers. We want to have our entity completely separate from us. You can get both those things, email and phone number, from Google, paying about $9 to $15 per month for both these things and beyond. So you have your LLC, you have your business address that was $10 that you got from anytimemailbox.com. Phone number and email from Google, right? $15 a month. Then after that, you want to get a website set up just because once again, when the bank is running through their data points to determine if they want to give you the funding, these are the things that they're looking at. You can pay somebody on Fiverr $100, $125, set up a one-page landing page just so it's present and directly connected with your business and the domain you've created for the business. So we have we have LLC, email, phone number, address, website. And then after that, the next two things, which are extremely important, is you want to, of course, make sure you have your EIN, right? If the IRS is watching, we love y'all, right? We don't want no beef with y'all. Do not come for us, right? We pay on time. So what that looks like is we can go to the irs.gov website, it's free. It takes about 5 to 7 minutes to go ahead and get it set up. And we get our EIN, right, which is our employer identification number. That's like your business's social security number in the eyes of the IRS. So you can't operate business without it. You can't even open a business checking account without it. So we want to make sure we get that. And then lastly, most people don't talk about this, but very important, your operating agreement. So your operating agreement is pretty much documentation that breaks down the nature of what your business does, right? Typically, most banks won't ask for it unless you're going for like one-time lump sum loans. But even still, I still recommend to have it because it can be necessary in other parts. You go to rockalawyer.com, 7-day free trial, and get that set up. They have templates in there where you just plug your business information in and you're good. So you probably spend no more than $250 to $300 to set up a business that you can now leverage towards getting access to capital. So that's the next step.
See, I tell people that same thing all the time. Like, you structure and set up your business the right way. Build it like it's already $1 million brand, right? And it opens up the door to get you access to more funding. So if I make a $250 investment and it gets me access to 50, 100, 150, $200,000 in funding, why would I not make that investment?
Hey, come on.
But there are so many entrepreneurs who won't do the work and they don't understand why they're not getting the results. And so I love that you share that information and you teach it in such a way that anybody can understand it.
100%.
And so now it's just like all you got to do is go execute.
That's it.
That is so amazing. It's so dope. When it comes to getting access to funding, I think part of it and what I love about it the most is that it gives entrepreneurs an opportunity that, sometimes people just don't have, right? It's challenging to try to save $50,000 to fund your dreams. It's challenging to try to walk in the bank and get access to a $50,000 loan if you don't have 2 years in business. But you can get access to a $50,000 credit card 0% for 12 months
Yeah.
to go out and fund your vision. What's some things or some success that you've had inside of your community or your service that you offer for entrepreneurs to help them get access to funding?
Yeah, so for me, I love going in our school community and looking at some of the wins that individuals have been able to have. We actually just have my guy, shouts to my guy Legend, who I think recently got access to over 125,000 in business credit just from going through different lenders that we teach about inside the community. Then we have my guy Pat. So we don't typically, I don't harp too much on, no documentation based funding, but he's been able to have great success with it. I think he's also been able to get well over $100,000 in funding there. So to your point, the money there. The problem is that most people just either don't have the information, which is why we have platforms like this to be able to go ahead and help them get access to it, or they have the information, but they overcomplicate the implementation, right? Which is very, very simple for them to do. From being in this space where I've seen both sides of the coin, individuals who've had success, like my guys Legend and Pat, and people who haven't had as much success. The reason why I love getting on shows like this is be able to make it as cookie cutter as possible, make you realize you're only two to three steps away from getting access to the capital you need. So, for example, I know earlier we talked about the structuring of the personal credit, the fixing of the personal credit. We talked about the business, but we didn't talk about the holy grail, which is like, all right, I got all this stuff. Does the money now just fall in my lap, right? Or is there something else you have to do?
Oh, that was next. I was coming.
Oh, okay. Listen,
let's dive in.
Let's dive in. Let's dive in. Let's dive in. So you did all the heavy lifting, right? You got your personal credit structured. You got your personal credit repaired. You now have a business that you spent $250, $300 max to go ahead and structure. Now the next step is going out and leveraging all these things to get access to capital. This is where a lot of people trip themselves up at. Because the biggest question I get is, what banks do I go to? What do I say when I go to the banks? Do I wear a suit? Do I got a call? Do I sit an appointment? What happened? What goes on? It's very, very straightforward. So the first thing I try and tell individuals before they start applying for funding anywhere is to look at the banks that you already have relationships with. The reason why is because getting access to capital is a very relationship-based thing, especially for a lot of these different lenders. If you have person A and person B, right? Person A has everything, follows the first three steps that we talked about, right? And so does person B, but person A, let's say they have these three banks that they already have long-standing relationships with. Year after year, they've had personal checkings and business checkings. They've deposited money into on a consistent basis. When they come and they say, hey, let me get 50,000, let me get 25,000, it's a lot easier for them to get approved for those things versus person B, even though person B has all the things that person A has on the back end. But if they don't have those relationships beforehand, it could be the difference between them only getting 2,500 versus them getting 15, 20, 25,000. So that's typically, even in our funding firm right now, one of the things we do is we want to look at what are all the banks that you already have a relationship with, because we may have these 8 to 10 lenders over here, but if you're partnered with these 3 lenders here, well, let's go to them first and see if they got something for you before we bring you over here to these lenders that you don't have a relationship with. Now, if you don't have a relationship with any banks, then that's pretty much where we want to start, right? It's as simple as going in, finding 3 to 5 banks, whether they're banks that are specific to your region, right? Whether you live in Memphis, California, New York, and opening a personal checking and a business checkings with them, depositing some money in there and letting it sit. And then from there, if you do have extra funds, making those deposits on a consistent basis on month by month. The reason why, I don't want to get too nerdy here with the business credit side. Most people don't know that banks have a rating system on the back end that they use to rank all their clients. Okay, where do you fall based on your deposit, how much you're depositing, and how consistently you're depositing? Most people don't know that. So when you're making these deposits on the back end, you're increasing where you're ranking at higher and higher in the eyes of the bank, so that now when it comes time for you to say, hey, let me get access to capital, you're now able to not only get approved, but maximize the amount of funding that you're able to get approved for. Now, let's say, for example, you're like, Marv, still too complicated. Just tell me where to go. Tell me the different banks that I could look into. Some of the personal banks that I recommend that I'm big proponents of, I'm a big Chase person. So I love Chase Bank because I think it's one of the only banks right now that gives you access to up to $150,000 on one business credit card. Not saying you're going to get that off the rip, right? But as you build the relationship with them, you know that you can get to a point where you're able to get there, right? I also love Chase primarily just because from a banking standpoint, they're just great altogether. But when you have a bank that'll give you access to up to $150,000 on one card, I mean, what are we talking about here? On a regional level, I'm a big fan of Truist Bank. So Truist is a great bank because it allows you to do something called double dip. So pretty much that's when you can apply for multiple cards with one bank, but under the same inquiry, which is super important because if you're in a situation where you can get multiple business credit cards on one inquiry, you preserve your credit reports where you're not bouncing hundreds of inquiries on it while still maximizing how much capital you can get access to. And another bank that you guys can look into that also does that I'm not too high on them right now because they've been a little stingy, but American Express is also another one that does that as well. So whether you're looking at a Chase, looking at American Express, looking at a Truist, prioritize number one, looking at banks you already have in your wheelhouse. So for example, if you're watching this and you don't have relationships with any of those banks, let's say you have a relationship with the Wells Fargo, let's say you have a relationship with a PNC Bank and beyond, prioritize looking into their business credit options first, and then from there you can start looking into some of the other banks that I've mentioned up until this point.
That was
Don't do this.
fire.
Coach, don't do this.
What are we? You
Coach,
just did
don't
a
do
whole webinar.
No, come on, Coach.
Wow. Listen, just go in the comments. Once you get approved, just drop how much you got approved for in the comments. Because he just broke it down to literally a science. Like
Right.
how we build our personal credit, build and restore our personal credit, how we, build relationships
Right.
is so important. I tell people all the time, those banker relationships open up the doors
100%.
for those approvals. I remember working at the bank and people coming in with donuts or Christmas cards or boxes of candies. It's because they were just buttering me up,
Yeah.
or
They're trying to get you to put an extra comma behind that approval. Like, come on, Coach. Go ahead and do what you
just
gotta do.
bounce that
Go ahead,
comma
butter
over
away.
just a little bit. I love what you're doing and the impact that you
Thank you.
are making, the service that you are providing,
Sure.
and how you are just thriving in your area. What's next for
Man,
Marvin?
What is next for Marvin? Well, on the podcast side, obviously we're building things up there, right? So once again, like I mentioned before, I am the host of the Marvin Francois Show, your number one source for all things business, finance, and investing. And I think continuing to build that platform above all else is going to feed all the other goals that I have, because you, with of course your platform here, and we talked about even just now with banking, but relationships, and not just in banking, not in business, but in life, is everything. We hear it all the time in the spaces that we're in, but it's like you're a handshake away, you're a relationship away, your business partner might be sitting right next to you. And at times you can become numb to it, but when you really look at the track record for success, especially for people we may look up to, it's true, right? You're not going to hard work your way towards becoming wealthy. You're not going to hard work your way towards becoming super ultra rich. A lot of times it's about not just about what you know and what you're doing, it's about who you know and the people that you can help to leverage you and get in certain positions. So saying all that to say, the podcast for me is really the primary focus, number one, because it allows for me to leverage the expertise of people that are in my network to serve the people that I want to help, right? I want to help established entrepreneurs who are struggling to grow their business because of lack of access to capital and resources, where they can come to my channel. It's like, yeah, I'm the credit guy, but let me go ahead and bring on a Coach K who specializes in business grants. Let me go ahead and bring on this person who specializes in social media monetization. Let me go ahead and bring on this person who specializes in investing in real estate and beyond. And in turn, that will do for me is, one, it allows me to provide even more value to my audience. But beyond that, it allows me to form partnerships with individuals that come into my business and go, oh, you've been doing this thing all wrong. No. Do this, stop doing that, start here, and help me to continue to elevate. So I would say that would be the biggest thing for me. And then, of course, growing my consulting firm. So obviously right now we have our business funding community, Takeoff University, where we once again serve these established entrepreneurs who are looking to get access to capital, don't have the luxury or don't want to do all the heavy lifting themselves, and want the step-by-step blueprint to where we're able to provide them that inside the community and provide value to them. So there's that. And we also have our funding offers as well, where essentially if you're watching this and you're like, Marvin, all that was great, but I ain't doing it. I need you to do it for me. Then, building on that platform where we're able to serve these individuals and do all the heavy lifting that actually gets them funding, take it off their plate and put them in position and get the capital they need to grow their business. So I'm locked in on those three things.
Yeah, that's amazing. How important is it to build relationships and to network, and how has it helped you in your journey?
Man, it's been crucial. It's been very, very crucial, because I for a very long period of time, especially in the earlier stages of business, I was very isolated. In my mind, I convinced myself I got to lock myself in a dark room, open up this laptop, don't talk to anybody, and I got to work till I'm, red in the eyes, my head is hurting, and that's how I'm going to make, my first million, and that's how I'm going to do all these incredible things. I've learned very quickly that the fastest way to success is being able to form relationships with people who are where I want to be, and paying them money to collapse the time that it'll take for me to get there. I heard someone say something that was great, where it was just like the road to success, you're either going to pay in money or you're going to pay in time. And ultimately, you will end up paying in the thing that you care about the least. Mm-hmm. And what I realized is I love money. I'm sure you love money. We all love money, right? money is great, but I love my time even more. And what I learned is that if I could pay somebody $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 today to where I can get to a 10-year goal in 1 or 2 years, then I'm number one going to make my money back. But number two, I save my most important asset, which is my time. And even me understanding that, it took me a very long time to get that. But now I'm in a situation where I have relationships with people like yourself, people like the Nehemiah Davises of the world and the Dion Coopwoods of the world and beyond. These individuals that I'm able to sit down with, and I'm like, I need to reshift my approach when it comes to money, reshift my approach when it comes to building a successful business, reshift my perspective when it comes to how am I actually establishing wealth for the generations to come. And I don't think that would have happened if I wasn't intentional about relationship building. But I do want to say this, because everyone talks about building relationships, and I think it goes both ways. Building relationships is important, but you also need to do the work to become someone that's valuable enough to where people want to be in relationship with you. So people may watch a podcast like to me, how can I get in a relationship with a Marvin? How can I get in a relationship with a Coach K? How can I get next to all these different people? You can't escape the legwork that's required to build up a skill set to where it's like you aren't looking for people because people are looking for you, right? I didn't, Coach K didn't have to reach out to me. I was like, hey, listen, I want to get on your show. What I got to do? Because she is someone of value. She's done the heavy lifting to where it's like, I see what she's building, she sees what I'm building, and it makes sense for us to be able to work together and build this relationship because there's an equal value exchange. I think that's the part that most aspiring entrepreneurs forget, to where it's just like, all right, how can I be get in a relationship with this 8-figure entrepreneur? You haven't even made your first 10,000 yet. So it's just like, there's not an equal value exchange that exists here. So I think for me, being in a relationship has taught me these things and so much more. That's put me in a position now to have the success I'm having and beyond.
Wow.
Yeah.
This has been an amazing episode.
I appreciate that.
I thank you so much for just coming in, for adding value and just dropping gems. Is there any last piece of advice or anything you want to touch on before we wrap it
up? Last piece of advice. What I want to share with the people. I don't normally say this, but for whatever reason, it's on my heart right now, so I'll say it. Maybe it's because I need to hear it myself. 2 things. I'll share where people can find me, and then I'll share closing words. First closing word I'll say is, I don't know who's watching this that needs to hear this, but it's going to be uncomfortable, and that's okay. I think that what I've learned is that successful people, the people who are most successful in whatever field that they're in, it's not that they're not uncomfortable, anxious, scared, nervous, tired, and beyond, is that they do it anyways. And I think that the faster you can disassociate your goals or the work that's required to get to your goals from your feelings, the faster you can get there. You have a lot of people, I'm sure, that you coach that are like, well, how can I have success in getting grants? How can I have success in whatever industry I'm in? And it's like, if you would just put your feelings on the shelf and understand like, hey, the work got to get done. Either I do it, regardless if I'm scared, concerned, frustrated, whatever it may be, I got to get the work done. You will get so farther ahead than you could ever even imagine, because you have some people that have psyched themselves out to think, well, why is this person more successful than me? Why are they making more money than me? It's not because they're smarter than you. It's not because they're better than you. It's just that when you both got to a point where it got uncomfortable, you stopped and they kept going. So what I would say to you in the season of your life of whatever you're dealing with, it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be frustrating. You're going to take a couple L's. You're going to lose some money, but that's a part of the process, and it's okay. Yeah, and I guess the last part, if you enjoyed this episode, you want to know where to find me, on Instagram at Marvin Francois _, YouTube for my podcast, The Marvin Francois Show, or at Marvin Francois for The Marvin Francois Show, your number one source for all things business, finance, and investing. And if you want to work with me, you could head over to funding.takeofffinancial.com, or you can head over to our business coach community. I'll give Coach K the link to put in the description so you can go ahead and help you get to the other side of success. And that's it.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
You guys, this has been another amazing episode of Access Granted. I want you to do me a favor. I know you have a friend, a family member, or relative who could use this information to help them elevate and go to the next level. So I want you to take this link, share it with 3 people that you love, and then I want to make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.